All right, so now we're going to use our newfound post-robot knowledge to complete an exercise. So our company has found the new post-robot library and wants to take advantage of the new features. We want to upgrade our post-message login procedure with this new library. During the upgrade, we also want to make use of the function messaging to allow the parent to call a logout function to use the logger out, to log the user out. Logout should happen when the user clicks our logout button. So we're going to use the client post-robot folder for this exercise. So what will we be replacing our window.post messages with? We should be replacing those with the postrobot.send function. And what will we be replacing our window.add event listeners with? And we'll be replacing those with the postrobot.on function. So this exercise is split into 7 parts that we will complete in order to upgrade our existing post message application. We are going to send the email message, we're going to receive the email message, we're going to send the login message, and we're going to receive the login message. Then we're going to add additional functionality to get user to send a message to get the user if they are already logged in. And we are going to receive the get user message. Then we are also going to implement the logout user functionality. So first off, we're going to do the send email message. So let's locate part 1 in the login.html file and go ahead and pause this video and take a couple minutes to try and solve this part on your own. And you can follow the inline comments in the code to complete it. All right, if you haven't paused the video, please do so now because I'm about to go over the answer. I'm going to switch over to our application. And I'm going to open up the login.html under postrobot client. And I'm going to find the part 1 for this exercise. All right, it says send email message, use postrobot to send a message to the iframe. So we are going to call postrobot.send. Our first argument to postrobot is the iframe variable. Postrobot can just take the iframe variable and it will check to see if it's an iframe and then look into the content window automatically. The second argument is the name of the message. So for this one, we're going to do email. And then the data is the email message variable. All right, and then it says when response is received, call the add output function. Okay, so when the response is received, remember that everything is asynchronous, so we're doing then function data, which is the data that we'll be responding with. And we are going to call add output and received email message. All right, and then for extra credit, we are going to add the user's email from the response to the add output message, and that's as easy as doing. And this is actually the event, so we're going to rename this to event quick. And then when this comes through, we are going to add event.data.message. And that should put the email message that we get back, email address that we get back into the add output. So I'm going to save that. And return to our presentation. All right, so as you can see, this is the actual answer to part 1 of exercise 2, just like we completed. We're using postRobot to send to the iframe the email message, and then we are, when the promise resolves, we are adding the output. All right, exercise 2, part 2, received the email message. So let's locate part 2 in the rlogin.html file, and go ahead and pause this video and take a couple minutes to try and solve this part on your own. Follow the inline comments to complete. All right, if you haven't already paused the video, go ahead and do so now, because I'm about to go over the answer for part 2. All right, I'm going to switch over to our training application. I'm going to open up our login.html. All right, and then I'm going to locate part 2. It says listen for email message. Use postRobot to listen for the email message. In the callback function, set the value of the HTML form to the messaged email, and then look to see how this is done in the post message exercise previously. And then we can return the data property of the event. All right, so first off, we are going to use postRobot.on. We are listening for the email message. That takes a callback. Event. All right. Then we want to update the HTML input to the email address that was messaged. So we're going to say document.getElementById, example, we want to put 1, .value equals event .data .message. And then we are actually just going to return the data property of event. So we're just going to basically message right back the message that we got. Basically just saying that we did receive it and everything is good to go. All right, so now I'm going to save this file. And now we should be able to take a look at our actual application on the web here. And when I refresh the page, my email address should now be automatically populated, and then we should also see some more exercise output. All right, so we see that the email address is pre-populated, and we also see that I sent an email message and that I received the email message, and I even added the email address that was passed in. All right. So that's the answer for part 2 of this exercise. You can pause it now if you need some time to type that in. And we did refresh the page and we saw the output and the email address that was pre-populated. All right, now for part 3 of our exercise, we're going to send the login message. So locate part 3 in our login.html file. And then pause this video, take a couple minutes to try and solve this part on your own, and follow the inline comments to complete it. All right, if you haven't already paused this video, please do so now, because I'm about to go over the answer. All right, so I'm going to switch over to our training application. I'm going to locate part 3. All right, it says send login message. Use postRobot to send a message to the parent window. The name should be on the login. The message data should be the user variable. And there's no callback function. So this should be easy enough. We want to use postRobot.send. And it says the name. Well, first off, we need to send it somewhere, so we want to send it to the parent window, which is window.parent. Message name should be on login. And the data should be user variable, so user. I don't have any sort of callback or no thenning, so we are going to save this. And we will return to our presentation. That should be it for part 3 of this exercise. You can see the actual answer here, just using postRobot to send to the parent window on login with the user variable. All right, so part 4, we are going to receive the on login message. So locate part 4 in our login.html file. Go ahead and pause this video and take a couple minutes to try and solve this part on your own. Follow the inline comments to complete. All right, if you haven't paused the video already, please do so now, because I'm about to go through the answer for this part. So let me switch over to our training application. All right, and then I'm going to go to login.html and locate part 4. And it says receive the on login message. Use postRobot to listen for a message from the iframe. So we're going to use postRobot.on. The message name is on login. And the callback should perform the following. So we have a callback function which receives an event. All right, it should do the following: add output. So we can add output. And the output is on login message received. So copy that guy. All right. Then set the global user variable equal to event.data. So we just want to say user equals event.data. Next, execute the display user information with user as the argument. So we want to do display user information with user as the argument. All right, now I'm going to save this file. So now when I refresh my application, I am sending and receiving my on login message, so we should see that. And when I submit my form, I should be receiving the on login message. Awesome, so we see on login message received. And then we see that we are displaying the user information since they are now logged in. All right, so here's the answer to the exercise. If you want to pause and take a minute to copy it and type it in. And here is what happens when you refresh the page and try the login process. You should see the following output. All right, so some new functionality we're going to add in. Our application currently sets a cookie when the user logs in to persist the login session. We now need a way to first check if the user is already logged in before displaying the login form. So using our postRobot library, we're going to complete the following. On the login.html, we're going to send a message called getUser and display the appropriate information on the return. So if the user is logged in, then we want to display the user information in the logout button. If the user is not logged in, then we want to display the login form in the iframe. So we are going to say that the user is logged in if user.email is not undefined. So then on our login.html, we're going to listen for a get user message and we're going to respond with the global user. All right, so part 5, send get user message. So locate part 5 in the login.html file. Go ahead and pause this video and take a couple minutes to try and solve this part on your own. Follow the inline comments to complete. All right, if you haven't already paused the video, please do so now because I'm about ready to go over the answer for part 5. Let me switch over to our application. And I'm going to go to login.html and locate part 5. All right, part 5, send get user message. Use postRobot to send a message to the iframe. Argument 1 is the iframe variable. Argument 2 is the name of the message, which is get user. We're not going to send any data for this message. And then when the promise resolves, we want to call the handle get user message function with the event. All right. So we're going to use postRobot dot send to the iframe get user. Then we are going to handle get user message. And we don't actually execute that, so then it will actually execute this function and send it the data automatically. All right, so that should be it for part 5. I'm going to go ahead and save the file and return to the presentation. All right, so here's the answer to part 5. We are going to go ahead and move on now to part 6. Receive the get user message. So locate part 6 in our login.html file. Go ahead and pause the video and take a couple minutes to try and solve this part on your own. Follow the inline comments to complete. All right, if you haven't already paused this video, please do so now because I'm about ready to go over the answer for part 6. Let me switch back to our application. I'm going to open the rlogin.html file and locate part 6. So part 6, we're going to receive the get user message. So we're going to use postRobot to listen for a message. The message name is get user, and the callback function should return the user variable. All right, so I'm saying postRobot.on, sending it, listening for a get user message, and then when I get the message, I'm going to return user. All right, now let me go ahead and save this file. All right, so now when I open the application in our browser and refresh the page, we're going to see that I am sending the get user message, and then I am receiving the get user message. So now you'll see that we aren't even displaying the login form. That's because our user is already logged in from a previous exercise. We already have that cookie available. All right. So that is part 6. And this is the answer to part 6. It's postRobot listening for get user and returning it. Once again, this is what you'll see when you refresh your page. All right, so the last piece of functionality that we need to add is the logout portion. So our application now needs a way for the user to log out. The logout button will be located on the merchant site, but our login cookie is owned by our iframe domain. So the only way to clear the cookie is to message the iframe. The parent window could not touch the cookie that was created from the iframe domain. So one of the major new features with postRobot is the ability to message functions. We got the current user from the get user message that we just implemented, and now we are going to use that to log out the user. So right now you could click the current logout button and view the console to see what user is. The logout property is a function that exists in the actual iframe. So post message can only send strings. How does postRobot actually send functions? Well, as we kind of described in our lecture for postRobot, the function itself is actually being executed on the iframe. So postRobot sends a message to the iframe asking it to execute the function and then messages back the result. So this will always immediately return a promise that will be resolved with the result of the function execution in the iframe. All right, so let's take a look at part 7 of our exercise. So let's locate part 7 in the login.html file. Pause this video and take a couple minutes to try and solve this part on your own. Follow the inline comments to complete this exercise. All right, if you haven't paused the video, please do so now because I'm about ready to go over the answer to part 7. I'm going to switch over to our application. And open up login.html. And even though it says part 6, it's going to be part 7. All right, just execute the user logout function, and when the promise resolves, call the handle logout message with the event. So all we have to do is call the user.logout function, and then call the handle logout message function. Oops. All right, now I'm going to save that. All right, now when I refresh my page here, I should be able to actually log out my user. So when I click this button, we'll see that my iframe now pops up again because the user has been logged out successfully. So if I log back in, I'll see that I logged in, and then I will log out. All right, and that's the answer to part 7 of this exercise. And you should be able to have a full working application now where we can log in and log out.